Very good morning to all my dear learners. I hope you all are safe and fine at your places. So welcome students. Today we are going to deal with the new unit, and the name of this unit is Psychology in the Sports. Right? So basically we need to be in the ocean of physical education, and yes, we need to understand the meaning of psychology. We need to understand the meaning, the concepts of what exactly I'm telling you about is that the sports, the psychology, and what's the importance of psychology in sports. So welcome to class of physical education. Welcome to physical education. So students, what we are doing is we are going to deal on unit number 9. The name of this unit is Psychology and Sports. Psychology and Sports. So students, in this chapter we will be going to understand about psychology, about the mental temperament. So the very first thing that I would like to tell you here is about the objectives of physical education. So what's the objective of physical education? Objective of physical education. As we all know, the first objective of physical education is physical development. Physical development emphasizes on the physical development of the body, that the cellular growth, the improvement in the strength, the improvement in the speed, the improvement in the various physical fitness components, right? So physical fitness or these kinds of terms are basically, such things are based on the development of the physical education goals, right? Second thing is social development. Social development. Social development means to inculcate some social and moral values like cooperation, like adjustment, okay, helping each other, this kind of things which is based on the social development. Next thing, that's the third thing, and the third thing is emotional development. Emotional development. Emotional development is based upon the emotions. The development of emotions, like when we come in the age of adolescence, we got some jealousy, anger, happiness, cheerfulness. Various hormones are secreted in our body, and it's become very important to manage emotions. Emotions really play a very important role in our life, and it's make us really a very good person. If you have a art to manage the emotion, to balance the emotion, it will become so easy for you to live a life happily and wonderfully, right? So joyfully, right? Fourth, which is the most important thing, the fourth development, that is psychological development. Psychological development. So students, psychological development, it is also called mental development. Psychological development, it is mind related. About your thought process, about your learning process, about your remembering power, what you think. These all points are based on the psychological temperaments, right? So psychological temperaments, this kind of things are basically treated, and this all the four components, the four goals that we have to achieve, all based on what? It's all based on the fixed attire, and it's all the part of the development of the physical education objective. So we have four physical education objectives. The objectives, which are here with us, and we can really understand it. And students' seats become very important for So this is about what the objectives of physical education. Now the point comes about the psychology. What is psychology? And you know, students, if we talk about as it is an introductory part of this chapter. So as I am talking about psychology, these days sports competition are very tough, right? Players are used to test techniques, best training methods for the better result during competitions. Even they are not satisfied with the competition level, with their work, with their performance. Even they are not satisfied with their results. Thus, it's important, or the importance of psychology was realized in the field of physical education, right? To give the best possible result to the players. Sports psychology is the branch of psychology which deals with the positive behavior of a sportsperson during the training and the competition period. These sports psychology help us to achieve the goal. Like, you know, if we want the student or if we want the player to perform well, what we exactly want is that we wanted the player to excel the performance. So that's why the sports psychology has a great branch. The sports psychology is very important. It's very contentful to go through. If we know about this sports psychology, it's become so easier for us to see the trends, to understand the various factors which we observe in the training periods, in the competition periods about the student, about the player. So here we understand that sports psychology has a great, possibilities we need to know. It guides the coaches, the players to give individuals attention regarding various methods, various motivational techniques. It's guiding sports ethics, sportsmanship, to develop a sports attitude too. The knowledge of sports psychology helps the coaches and players to release their stress, anxiety, and we can also, assign some methods to overcome the anxiety. So it is very, very important to understand the psychology in terms of sports, in the arena of sports. It's also helped to take up various problems of their life. Yes, students, in this chapter, you will be able to understand what is the importance of sports psychology, what is exactly sports psychology is, especially in the field of physical education. You will get to know what is the personality traits, what is exactly the personality, what is motivation, and so many things. So let's tell you about the example that I would like to convey with you, right? So I just wanted to wrap it. Let's wrap it. All right. See, the student, first thing is your psychology, right? So psychology means what? It is related to the mind. Okay? Study. Now see this, take an example. So I'm going to give you one example. Let's this kind of a story time, so we understand that psychology, when we talk about, so what is psychology or what is the sports psychology? Psychology means the study of the mind, the study of the behavioral patterns. Exactly. When we talk about sports psychology, what is the point? Sports psychology. What is sports psychology? Sports psychology, it means when we get to know what is going on inside the mind of the student, right? When we get to know what is going on inside the mind of our student. Okay, and when we get to know about things, it will become so easy for us to motivate him, to allow him to explore the world, right? So now my first thing that I'm going to tell you, just take an example. When the coaches and the players, they are taking, training periods going on, and the next week you have one, in the upcoming weeks you have the competition. Let's take an example of football competition. Now the point came here is when the training period is going on, right? It means the are taught everything about the game, like the skills, like how to pass the ball, how to goal, the penalty shoot, so many things. Regular training session. In the training session, there will be regular practices regarding different situations, how to handle the different situations when the ball comes, the head, and so many things. Now the point came, if the person, the coach has, or the physical education instructor has some knowledge of the sports psychology. So sports psychology is that branch which tell us about the the kind of motivation, and we'll get to know, we'll observe the player, that how he is performing, will be able to give a personal attention to that player, to the student. We'll get to know what are the problems that the student is facing. We'll get to know what are the faults, what are the skills he or she has missed. So when we know about sports psychology, so during the training period, it will become so easy for us to how to deal with different players. We'll be able to motivate each of them in our own terms, in our own style. Because during the training period, we will be able to see the behavior, the conduct, the way he play or she play. It's become very important nowadays, because see students, nowadays the competition is too tough. Players are trying their level best, but after all these things, the result, when they got the result, so low. So it becomes, on that time, becomes serious. It's become very important to know that where the fault is exactly and how to overcome that fault. So the branch of physics, or the physics as well as psychology as well as the science, we can say in simple words, bring the term sports psychology, and we realize that in the arena of sports, psychology plays a very important role. Now the point comes how it helps us. If you want to check the behavior, if you want to see the conduct, the play, the response, the teamwork, the kind of enthusiasm, the motivation, the extra energy, all things you can observe when the game is on. You can observe each and everything about a player, how he feels, what he is doing, what he has to do, and what is going on his or her mind. It will become so easy for you to understand the sports psychology. That's why I'm telling you, the sports psychology nowadays play a very, very important role. To not to understand the kids, but yes, of course, to understand what's the meaning of it. Psychology is that branch, or a sports psychology is that branch which help us to know the various conduct of the player. Sports psychology is the branch which basically deals on the personality also. So students, when I'm talking about the sports psychology, okay, so what exactly the sports psychology is about? The sports psychology is that branch which tells us about, in the training programs, in the different attires. If I talk about the sports psychology, so I can simply say about the sports psychology, it is the if you talk about the psychology, so it's a branch of positive behavior. It's a branch of psychology which deals with the positive behavior of a sports person during training and competition period to increase the performance. What is psychology? Or what is sports psychology? Sports psychology is a branch of psychology which deals with the positive behavior, which deals with the positivity, which deals with the positive behavior of a sports person towards the training competition. And there is two to three things now that I am going to tell you. One is about the personality, and second is about the motivation. Okay, let's have a talk on it. Motivation and personality. Two different terms now we're going to talk about. Okay, so before that, I just wanted to rub something. I just want to tell you. Okay, yes, I just want to rub it. I can write it one more time, there's no problem in it. See, so psychology is mind study. Okay. Now sports psychology. So if we're going to start from here, sports psychology is the branch of psychology which deals with the positive behavior of an athlete. So it deals with the positive behavior of the player during the training periods. Okay, so during the training and competition period. So what psychology is about? So sports psychology is that branch, right? जब sports psychology में basically हम किस चीज की बात कर रहे हैं बेटा? हम positive behavior देखते हैं किसी भी sports person का किस टाइम पे training periods के टाइम पे competition के टाइम पे. Now I am telling you what things I can suggest you. See students, when we are talking about the sports psychology, right? So सबसे पहली चीज जब game on है, I'll be able to see the aggression. Okay? कितना aggression है बच्चे में? I can see. Right, I'll get to know about the aggression, that is anger. Okay, I can see the helpful nature. Okay, how much helpful the student is. These are some points that I can observe. Helpful nature. Okay, I'll also get to know whether the person is introvert or extrovert. Okay. Introvert, extrovert. Okay, a skill, a mastery is in a skill. Masters in skills. Definitely performance. Right. After performance, we have some more points like we will be able to know teamwork of this. We'll be able to know about the decision making skills. Decision making skills. These are some points which definitely tell us about the psychology of a person. During a particular time, what he is thinking, what is his conduct, what is his behavior, right? So this about the sports psychology. So what is the sports psychology? Sports psychology is a branch of psychology which deals with the behavior, with the positive behavior of an athlete, of a player during the training programs, during the competitions period. Right, so if you can take an example, right, so if I'm taking an example that the match is going on, sometimes it's happened that the student becomes so aggressive and they may show aggressive behavior, like sometimes the instrumental behavior, sometimes they have verbal, they have hostile aggression. Such kind of aggression is shown by the students, these players, right? So we'll be able to see कि कितना बच्चा टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहा है, क्या कर रहा है, उसका बिहेवियर कैसा है, what is his decision making, because hope is everywhere, so the decision whatever you take it all depends on that, right? So now the next point that I want to discuss is about the personality and motivation. Okay, so let's wrap it. I hope we should wrap it. Sports psychology is done almost. So yes, I hope you understand the meaning of psychology first. Let's drop it and let's have a talk about the next point. The next point that I want to talk to you is about, yes, the next point that I would like to cover with you, that I want to talk to you, that I want to discuss is about the personality. Right? So let's see what personality is exactly about. I just wanted some chalks. Okay? Personality. What's personality is exactly about? Right? So if you talk about personality, so personality is a typical way of thinking, behaving, and acting. Right? So personality, may be physical, right? Personality may be based on emotions. It may be judged with the dimension of social parameters. It may be based on the definitely for psychological parameters. Right? So personality is what about? Personality is a typical way to think. It's a typical way to act. It's a typical way. It's a different way by which human being, shows their emotions, express their way. So how you feel, how you behave, how you think, right? So personality is what about? Personality is a typical pattern of thinking, feeling, and behavior that makes you unique. So here we get to know that yes, personality is different with everyone. So personality makes a person unique. Right? So the personality is the only thing, it means the way you think, the way you act, the way you behave, the way you show your conduct is all upon what? These things are all upon based on the personality. Now if we go through the physical dimension, आप मोटे हो, पतले हो, this is personality. If we go to the emotional dimension, introvert, extrovert, social dimension, if I talk about psychological level, one should be like ocean, openness, consciousness, agreeableness, neuroticism, so many points we have. Okay, so physical education, in the arena of physical education, that's the psychology of the sports. It consists of personality too. So personality is, yes, it's a trait, it's a typical pattern of thinking, behaving and feeling that makes the person unique. Personality is defined as the person's enduring personal characters. In other words, I can say for yes, personality is the combination of characteristics or qualities that an individual distinctly possesses. Personality usually means that individual is much more than his or her outer appearance. So if you are much more than the outer appearance, it's personality, right? So if your personality, if you just see a person, it will become so difficult for you to judge it or to judge him, right? Because personality is something which is that is what we need to know from the depth. Okay, it is something in which we need to go in depth and understand a person, because personality is a typical way in which a person think, in which a person act, in which a person has some conduct, in which a person's behavior is all about. These all qualities makes that person different from others. So personality is what about the interior patterns, not about the outer appearance. If we talk about the definition of personality, so personality is personality makes an individual, the different patterns of things that he is doing. Personality refers to the whole behavior pattern of an individual to its totally its characteristics. Okay. So our personality consists of the characteristics. Let's write here. So qualities. Okay. Next thing is for sure yes. After qualities, which kind of point we can say? First is quality, right? Second thing is personality is about more about the characteristics. Right? So the qualities, the characteristics, the typical way of thinking, behaving, acting, right? This is all about the personality, okay, which makes a person unique from others. So this is actually the introductory part about the psychology and sports, and we definitely this psychology and all play a very very important role, right? So if I talk about the dimensions of personality, so physical dimension if I see, so physical dimension, like the shape, like the size, like the height, okay, like the obesity or well-built body. These things are around the physical dimension, or it decides the physical appearance of the body of an individual. So personality include the combination of emotions, attitude, behavior response, pattern of an individual. Personality means memory experience which lead to the decisions. It usually remains consistent throughout life. When we say someone has good personality, it means that it is likable, interesting, and pleasant to will. If we talk about the mental dimension, right, or psychological development. What is the personality dimension for the psychological? So the thought process, the knowledge, the ideas. So thoughts, ideas, and knowledge. I think I should write knowledge here. So the ideas, the behavior, the knowledge, these all things belongs to what? Psychological dimensions of personality, that is the mental dimensions of personality, right? The next thing that I am going to talk about is the social dimension. Social dimension is based on the related to the social qualities like the adjustment, like interest, attitude, anger, happiness, joyfulness, curiosity, etc. If we talk about the social dimension, this is about the emotion dimension I am saying. Emotions like attitude, interest, anger, happy, joyfulness, curiosity, these are the emotional dimension. But if I am talking about the social dimension, so it's related to the social qualities like adjustment, cooperation, togetherness, self-discipline, these all things. So various psychologists has formulated many theories regarding personality. Some theories are based upon the dimensions and some theories are based upon the traits. The common theory of personality is based upon the Sheldon's Jones classification, and this theory, also the Big Bang theory, is also very famous. Right, dear students? So these are some things that we should know about the exact things about the personality. Now students, we are going to talk about the next part, that's the motivation, and we'll be able to learn what is motivation. So motivation is derived from the Latin word move and mover, which means to change. Okay, so what is the change in the inner urge to achieve the goal? It's called the motivation. Motivation is the process of arousing, sustaining, and regulating the activity. So what's motivation is of two types, intrinsic as well as extrinsic. simply love it, and then we'll move on the next factor, that's the motivation. It's part 1, it's introductory part. Okay, so what's the point is? Motivation. Motivation is what? Change in the inner urge of a person. Is called personality, or it's called, sorry, motivation. Motivation, it means to change someone's life, it means to change the pattern of thinking. It means motivation is something which is related, to just have a change in the life of a person, have to, allow this person to feel something out of the box, to get to know about the things, right? So motivation is so different if we go through it properly, and it's become very important to understand. Motivation are of two types: intrinsic motivation and extrinsic. It's of two types: intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation. So motivation are two types: extrinsic and intrinsic. There are two types of motivation. Intrinsic, it means the inner side of things, like to change the way of pattern, some sympathy, empathy, both. External motivation, like to give some reward, punishment, sometimes beating is also there. So motivation are of two types, and motivation means to change the inner urge of a person. So these all things, this all things is about the motivation, psychology, and response. So students, this was the first part, that is the introductory part of Unit 9, Psychology and Response. I hope you love this session and you understand it as well. So with this, take care, bye-bye. We'll meet soon with a new video, with a new content, with a new hope, with a new desire. Till that, just take care, bye-bye, and wish you a very happy Diwali. Diwali is soon, so just rock it. Enjoy your days.